Okay, so since Paul was the author of all these books, I think we need to know a little bit of background on Paul because things will make much more sense to us. All right. Paul started out, his name was Saul. And he was born to a Jewish family, but he also had Roman citizenship, which it was very, very important in that day. And it was something that not everybody had, to be able to be in, I guess you'd say, both cultures. But one thing, when Saul grew up, his name was Saul at first, he persecuted Christians. In fact, he was responsible for stoning our very first Christian martyr, which was Stephen. And he had people come and lay their cloaks of Stephen at his feet and watch Stephen being stoned. And he was our first Christian martyr. And when Stephen was stoned, he still stood up for Jesus Christ and talked about, as he was being stoned, what he was seeing. And he was seeing the Lord. So anyway, Saul of Tarsus was a very bad man. He persecuted Christians. He would come into the church. He would arrest people. He would put them in jail. He would torture them. He would stone them. Nobody wanted to be around Saul. So Saul decided he was going to go to Damascus. And why? To persecute Christians. And on the road to Damascus, we call it the road to Emmaus, a light flashed from heaven, and it blinded Paul. Now, Paul, on his road to Damascus, his mission was to hurt the Christians. But when this light blinded him, he heard a voice, and an audible voice, and everybody else that was with him heard this voice. This is what you can read Acts chapter 9, and it will tell you this. They all heard the voice, and the voice said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And then Saul then realized that this was the real God, and he should not have been persecuting these people. And he repented and became a Christian at that time. But he still could not see. He was blind. So these people helped Paul continue on his road to Damascus. It took them 3 days to get there. And during that time, Paul did not eat. He didn't drink anything, and he had no sight. So while he's on his way, in the city of Damascus, there was a prophet of God named Ananias. And God came to Ananias, and he says, "Ananias, I want you to go and see Saul. His name is now Paul. I've changed it. But I want you to go see this man, and I'm going to give you the power to touch him and restore his sight. Talk to him about me. Just visit with him. Baptize him, whatever you need, do these things, and just welcome him into God's family." Now, can you imagine? This is the very worst of the worst. Saul was somebody that all the Christians avoided. You see him, you're going to run the other way. You don't want to be anywhere around. So anyway, Ananias trusted the Lord, and he went to, God told him where he would find Saul, now known as Paul. And so he went and he talked to Paul about Jesus Christ, and realized that Paul had changed his name, had accepted Christ. And so he baptized him, and they had fellowship together. And now the man that was Saul, that is now Paul, became one of our greatest missionaries. And he started many of these churches, like the letters that he wrote, the book of Philippians, Corinthians, Ephesus, Colossians, Galatians. He wrote all these things. But Paul did have a thorn in the flesh. We don't know what it was. 3 times he asked God to take it. Some people say it was his eyesight. Some people say it was that he couldn't walk very well, that he had a limp. There's lots of different, we don't know. God didn't tell us. But it's like my son Justin says, he's dyslexic, and God didn't take the dyslexia from him. And he says, it gives me more power because, Mom, I don't just go out and say, I know I can do something. I have to talk to God about it and say, God, I need your help to do this. I can't do this without you. So I think it makes your faith stronger when you have some kind of thorn in the flesh, so to speak. But anyway, as Paul went about, he became our greatest missionary, but it didn't come without a cost. He was beaten with rods. He was shipwrecked. You can read about all this in 2 Corinthians. He just gives a detailed list. But as you read through the Bible, you'll see some of the things that happened to Paul. He was stoned. He was put in jail numerous times. He was chained to guards and house arrest. Not pleasant things happened to him because of his devotion to Christ. And he as he did this, he went on missionary adventures, and he taught others to be missionaries, such as Timothy. So 1st and 2nd Timothy was not a church. It was written to Timothy. Paul was his mentor, and helped him work in a church and do these things. So that's just a quick synopsis of Paul.